never played rock, paper, scissors.
Oh, okay, because you kept going, apparently.
How many is this, 3?
Yes.
Okay.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh, wait. What was that? That's
Oh, the fourth one.
On the fourth
3
one, you
times.
do it.
Okay. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh, again. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh, you're thinking alike. Okay, one more time. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. I won.
We met doing Jelly's Last Jam here at the Alliance under the direction of the inimitable Kent Gash, who I know had a profound impact on me in terms of going on to directing and choreographing. But that was such an extraordinary process that we were involved in. Jelly's Last Jam, one of my favorite musicals. And I just remember us in that rehearsal room on the 3rd floor just going tap, tap, down, tap, tap, down, like teaching everyone to tap, finding the show in the room. This place really kind of symbolizes that to me. That experience kind of defined that for me. I don't know what was your experience with that?
I was a baby, so this was my first show, my second professional show, first show in Atlanta. And so I think I was, for a point, a deer in the headlights, but then honored to be in the room, and then just being with all these amazing artists kind of helped me really find my rhythm of like what I wanted my career to be like.
Yeah.
I wanted to choose projects where there was really impactful storytelling. I wanted to find ways to be a part of projects that transcend what's on the stage and how it further connected with people in the audience and the stories that we're telling and how it connects to real world events, things like that. So I think for me as an artist, it kind of continues to inform the things that I choose to work on. And to this day, I think about the show, I get teary-eyed.
I know, me too. Well, what's interesting is actually full circle, Kent Gash and I ended up doing a production of Jelly's Last Jam last year at Pasadena Playhouse. So that was a full circle moment to have been in the ensemble for the production here a couple of years ago. And then to come full circle and to be on the other side of the table with Kent again was just a real affirmation of the experience that I think both of us had.
Full circle moment.
I know, like I'm so thankful for it. I agree. It really the choice of project for me as an artist and the projects that I want to contribute my talent to, I think is a really specific thing for me now in terms of the projects that I pick, hoping that they will inspire conversation, hoping that people who are sitting in the audience see themselves reflected in it, and especially people who don't often see their stories reflected within the theater. It excites me to bring my talent to those works. And so I really feel like that with Milo Imagines the World. I've definitely felt like that with Jelly's Last Jam. So it seems like we're continuing that tradition.
I think so. Rhythm and Thread was first brought to my attention via Olivia Bosworth here at the Alliance Theater, because it coincides with the opening at the High Museum of Art. They're doing a special exhibit for Faith Ringgold called Singer Children.
I love Faith's work.
Yes, and so she's known for a lot of her narrative storytelling and quilt work, but not as much as I think she should be as far as an author for children's literature.
Okay.
So we're finding a way through Rhythm and Thread to tell a lot of the stories that her work also tells, to deal with quilting and storytelling and family, connections, community.
That's dope.
Yeah, so we looked at a lot of her different works, and we tried to create a story that can be engaging for our young audiences.
Oh, wow. So Rhythm and Thread is a composed piece. Wow, that's amazing.
So it's Theater for the Very Young, which is for ages 0 to 5 and their caregivers. And what's really unique about that type of work, it is TYA, but for that type of work, our kiddos become characters in the story. So it's set in an attic, and there's a grandpa we call Pop Pop and a grandma that we call Gigi, and they are packing up to move, and they have a grandchild that's not ready to move yet. And all the kids in the audience are the neighbors, and they're coming to help her get prepared for this transition. And they discover this quilt, and this quilt has magic, and every time they look at one of the images of the quilt, it kind of breaks into the storytelling of how it connects to the family and the history of it.
That is the community idea inside of that, the history idea, and ancestry idea inside of that, amazing. And how did you come to the directing of this work as an artist? And what's the path been coming to the direction work?
For me, I started and did a lot of theater for the young, very young, at the Alliance for a while. It's been my artistic home for almost 14 years now. And so for me, it's been really fun having a chance to step and create something fully from going from just a concept. And our concept was, what is quilting and looking at music from the Harlem Renaissance?
Yeah.
And what would that storytelling kind of put together? We had a couple of workshops throughout last year and just throwing ideas and seeing what would stick. And then what's really important for this type of work is that we can create a story, but we don't know what connects until we have test audiences. So we invite families to come, we invite campers to come to see what resonates, and they are the best critics because they would tell you right point blank what's appealing to them, and or if they're looking away, then they realize, okay, it's not telling the story that is connecting to them. So that's a great chance to kind of edit.
What an essential part of it, making the audience, of course, essential to the storytelling. I mean, is always what we're reaching for, that last character in the room. So that is really, really exciting. I can't wait to check it out. That's amazing.
Tell me a little bit about Milo.
Oh, so Milo Imagines the World is a musical based on the children's book by Matt De La Pena and Christian Robinson, who did the illustrations. And the musical has been composed by Atlanta's own Christian Magby. And lyrics by Christian Albright, and the book is by Terry Guess. And it's an extraordinary story about a little person, a young person who is on a journey with his sister, and we don't know where they're going, right? And this young person is on the subway, and he's looking around at people coming onto the subway, and he draws what he thinks their life is like. So it's the collision of imagination, but imagination and assumption. And so Milo, by the end, starts to learn, well, if I'm making assumptions about other people's lives, what assumptions might they be making about me, and what might they be missing? And so it's a coming of age in that way, and really, really wonderfully, again, wonderfully composed musically. But you also find out there's a little turn at the end that you find out that this family is really enduring through something. So I think it's really a story about a family enduring, right? And these young people coming together to try and find their way through a challenge. So I really enjoyed doing it. The work, the actual show is both a TYA show and a very, very complete musical. Right. And so for me, as an artist who loves both, I'm a teacher, career educator, and loves musicals, or you and I know this because we performed together here at the Alliance and the Jelly Session.
Almost 10 years ago.
Oh, more than 10 years. Yeah, we won't say how long ago it was but we both were been on that stage. I know we both have appreciation for when musicals do what musicals are supposed to do. That idea that when the text work inside of this thing is becomes full, then we have to sing, right? And then when that becomes full, then we have to dance, we have to move our bodies. And so when I read it the first time, I went, oh, it's so complete as a musical. And I know that if we stay true to the ideas inside of it, it will be vivid enough for our young audiences. And so I really enjoyed working on it with this extraordinary group of Atlanta-based actors. Oh my gosh, I've had such a great time. And because the actual show, the location of it is my beloved Harlem, where I've lived for 20 years. It just felt like both a coming home because Alliance, and again, we know this place well, but also to come here and to animate a place that I really know so well has been really, really a thrill for me.
And how did you get involved with the project?
Tinashe Kajese Bolden sent me the script and said, I was reading the script and I just couldn't get you out of my head in terms of the way that I think it moves because I'm a director and choreographer.
Yes.
And so movement's a very important part of my practice. And so she said, just take a listen to it, and you'll see what And when I read it and listened to it at the same time, I was just gobsmacked and had to do it, right? And it's one of those pieces that when I read it, it just jumped off the page. It was so vivid. I read the book. The book reaches out to something kind of beyond it. And each version of it, I feel like, has that space to kind of reach beyond it. And so I think we've landed on something pretty exciting in terms of this musical version of it. I'm really excited for Atlanta to check it out.
Oh, that's exciting. Nice. As rhythm and thread, if I can think of just one word, one, theater for very young, the style that we're doing, it's very limited language. So a lot of our storytelling is maybe having 2 or 3 words that repeat but have different meanings throughout. And so one thing that our character says, I guess 2 things. One character says, ready to move. And that's kind of implying that they're moving, but also the hidden background of it, like there is a change that's happening. And how does each member in this family kind of react to that? What's their feeling about this change of leaving your community, leaving what is familiar, leaving your home that you've grown up with? And the youngest character in our show, her name is Cassie, and she's a little reserved about moving. And so throughout the show, she says, Cassie stays. Like she's very, very much wants to stay in what's familiar with her.
Oh, wow.
But by the very end, she kind of accepts that sometimes change is good. And she says right before she goes off stage, new home, I'm ready.
Wow. Okay, I'm already there. Well, I think I actually will bridge off of that. In Milo Imagines the World, Milo is again on this journey and making assumptions about the lives of the people that he sees on the subway. And there's a song in the back end that's called Reflection. And he spent most of the play making assumptions about people, but in this song, he takes a moment and goes, and it's a wonderfully, I'm so moved by it because what Christian Magby and Christian Albright have done in terms of crafting the music and the lyric. Milo has the first moment where he thinks about, well, what are people thinking when they look at me, right? And it's just a beautiful moment of thinking, of watching this young boy think outside of his own experience and connect back to the idea that if he's seeing people and making assumptions, then they must be doing the same thing about him.
Yeah.
And he shifts, right? He makes a different choice, right? Which I think is really powerful for a young person, right? To remind them or to endow them with the knowing that they can make a different choice, right? And so to watch Milo do that in real time, I think is one of my favorite parts of the show. Because I had the privilege of working on Millions, which was on the Coca-Cola stage, which really centered around this young person who was asking big questions and really reconciling a challenge. It's been a real privilege to continue that with Milo, which is also about a young person asking real questions, coming of age, and reconciling a real challenge in their life. And so I'm really enjoying spending this summer focusing on the goodness and the genius of young people. That has really felt like in these these times that we live in, really a worthy cause, just as an artist at the moment.
For me, it makes me really think about the type of theater that I saw as a child. I didn't feel like it was created for children, but not for me as a child.
Yeah.
Meaning that it was still the same format of an adult show where I sit and I watch. But what I was viewing did not represent who I was, did not look at some of the questions that I had as a kid. So I love this type of work for theater for young audiences because it's really evolved over time, one. Two is finding these really, really poignant subject matters where kids have to kind of reflect about what they're experiencing in life. And us as artists, you have to realize that kids are so smart, that they have a range of emotions. And why not create work where you are reflecting that so they can see themselves in this type of work?
That's amazing.
For theater for the very young, I think is special too because this type of work is where kids become a part of the show. They are not asked to sit and be still. They're allowed to come on stage and be a part of the process. And so we're creating environments for them to respond to the work in the moment.
Yeah.
So I think that's what continues to pull me into theater for young audiences.
I love these words, theatrical environment. Like I wish I had heard a word like that or been invited as a very young person into a theatrical environment. So that's just so extraordinarily exciting. I'm really moved by that idea. Theater for young audience, to me, is such an important part of of theater making because it is for many young people their first experience in the theater. And for me, seeing, when I was 9 in Richmond, Virginia, seeing Les Miserables come through, 9-year-old seeing Les Miserables. But I remember it. I also remember my mother taking me up to the stage and saying, "Put your hand on that stage." It was such a real moment for me where I saw something. I didn't necessarily know what it was, but I knew I wanted to be a part of it, and I knew I was moved by it. Again, 9-year-old seeing Les Miserables, but what I remember was the feeling of being in the dark while something was on stage. And I remember people being committed to something, it feeling magical and feeling like it was just for me. And so that's a really important memory for me that I hope, young people who are seeing shows that I'm involved in and who see theater really have some experience that is adjacent to that, that it's really just for them, that moment in the dark and the lights come up. There's nothing else in the world that's like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what I love about young audiences and creating this work is that we're creating it and introducing theater and the arts to future artists. They are artists in the making, and they are
Future collaborators.
exactly, very much so.
Right.
That they are seeing something that's on a stage, and they are taking that back and thinking, what else could there be? And so we are just sparking probably one of a million future ideas of future shows and future stories that are going to be told by these young audiences that are going to help keep a vibrancy in theater as the future of it, that help kind of spark new types of storytelling and just the continuing like a lineage of what impactful theater will be in the future.
Yeah. There's something interesting just about, sometimes they will be artists, right, sitting in the audience, and then sometimes you are just sparking the love for theater, right? Someone who will come back and be in the audience, or a young person who gets involved in the theater and becomes a better orator so that they can lead a Fortune 500 company. Or the interaction with the theater for a young person is just such an important interaction because it underscores and it pulls out so many values that I think are extraordinarily valuable just within life, right? Empathy, the ability to be articulate about what you're feeling, and to be able to see someone else's life and have respect for what you're seeing. I think these are really important values that the theater helps us to come to. Because I've both been on the stage here and behind the table here, I feel like I've gotten to know the audience here really well. But also because, listen, I am just a young Southern boy from Richmond, Virginia. So every time I come back to Atlanta from New York, where I live, it feels like coming home. It feels like making theater. The young person in me who didn't get to necessarily make the type of theater I wanted to make when I was young in Richmond, it feels to me like there's some connection there, being able to come here in the South and to make the type of theater and have the type of contribution to the theater that I've always dreamed of having is just a very exciting thing. And the Alliance I have to give a shout out to the Alliance, a place that stands on what they say in terms of supporting artists. You and I both started here on the stage, and to be directors, right, to be standing in front of the room, speaks to the Alliance and their commitment to artists and to nurturing artists. So I'm really thankful for the Alliance and for their investment in myself as artists, but even as I've seen artists who I started here with that can continue to evolve. It's just an exciting place for that.
And I have to piggyback off of that because I started here as a performer, and then I went away for a while and came back, and I've done that throughout time in Atlanta, and the Alliance has always been my artistic home, where I said I'm interested in dipping my toe into theater for young audiences. They're like, okay, let's nurture that, and how can we support you with that?
Yeah.
I am very connected to the Alliance in that I love the type of original work that they take the time to craft, to bring in artists, to help use the amazing artists that are in Atlanta to kind of tell these stories. And our audiences are, as I said before, just very smart, quite intelligent, and they want to find stories that connect with them and that reflect the city at some aspects of the way that they do.
Yeah, something also about new work, working around the country, the Alliance is singular in that regard, right? Their commitment to new work and new ideas is, it's singular in the country in terms of the way that they do it, the way they support it, with the dollar behind it as well, because that's important. How does this work get made? And so their commitment across the board to new work is just something that continues to move me. So what is next for you?
What's next for me? Once Rhythm and Thread opens, I'm very blessed to the fact that it's not the final showing of it. It's going to come back again this fall as a part of the Atlanta Quilt Festival.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, and it's a great way to have, staying with that whole aspect of family heirlooms and passing down, to have this family show to go with just these beautiful elements of quilting.
Yeah.
I also work as a teaching artist, so a lot of my work and what informs me as an artist is how I go into a classroom and do professional development for teachers.
Yeah.
And I also teach theater for young audiences at KSU. Wow. So really helping to work with future artists as well, theater majors.
Oh, that's awesome.
So a mixture of other things.
Yeah, I know that matrix really well.
Yes.
For me as well, I'm an educator.
Yeah.
Which I always find that educator artists, they're like, those are my people.
Yeah.
But I'm an educator. I am head of dance for the new studio on Broadway at the Tisch School at NYU. And so I know my students have missed me, hopefully. So getting back to New York, getting back to that work. But also I have a couple of different projects coming up. I'm going to direct and choreograph a production of Ain't Misbehavin', which is my favorite musical, at Arizona Theater Company at the end of this year. So planning for that. I am also in the work of putting together a documentary film about my family in Richmond, Virginia. We have a very distinct history there, and so I go on sabbatical at the end of this year from NYU, and so I get the year to kind of go home and to do this work, which is going to be really about both telling my family story, but for me, discovering my family story in real time as well. My work as a theater artist has really led me to these questions about myself and how did I arrive at this way of thinking, or what exactly is my ancestry that has kind of plopped me in this place. So it's going to be really exciting to be able to do that.
And even to capture all of that. That's really
Yeah, I'm really very, very, very excited about that work. But my work with new musicals really is an extraordinarily exciting thing for me. So there are a couple of different projects in the year that I can't quite talk about right now, but I am very, very committed to nurturing some new musicals in the new year.
That's exciting. I'm proud of you, Dale.
Thank you. I'm proud of you. Oh my gosh. It's such a thrill to be here to speak with you about this. This is amazing.
I've enjoyed it immensely.
Congratulations.
Congratulations to you.